offense out now to get this game started. It's 1st and 10. Out of the shotgun, they'll give it to him inside. And he's going to be brought down at the 42. They'll move the chains after that pickup of 12.
To play running back in this league, well, you've got to have tremendous vision. We saw it twice. Once to find the lane upfield, and then to get to space and break off some extra yards.
First down throw by Williams. He's got Andrews. And he's tackled after getting this to the opposing 46. 12 yards on that play, and a good call nets him the first.
I love throwing on first down. And when you see a first down pass just like that, it's taking advantage of a matchup you plan for, and you go out and execute.
New set of downs for him from the 46. They'll run here on first down. And he gets up for a gain of about 4.
You know, that's a good run right there. Keep the offense on schedule. If he can average that type of yards per carry, this guy's going to be more than all right with letting him lead the show.
Second and 6 coming up here. Off the play fake, Williams. Hits his running back. And he's going to get it out past the 40 before he goes out.
When there's heat, that blitz coming off the snap, that QB's eyes, you could see it right away. He got to his check down in a hurry. But, Kate, here's the key. Quarterback and running back have to be on the same page. The two were right there, and it netted some positive yards.
Third and just 2 to go. Williams on the play action. Completed to his running back. And he takes it inside the 35 before heading out. That goes as a 4-yard pickup, and it gets him a first down.
You know, they call that the money down for a reason, because you're just simply not going to last long in the NFL if you don't convert a good portion of your third downs. It's the money down. And nice to see them roll the dice and continue the series.
And he scampers ahead and gets 2 on the carry.
You know, Kate, I like to call these body blows. Body blows. You got to be committed to running the football. Even if it doesn't move the chains, I guarantee you that wear and tear will pay dividends later.
Eight yards to go. Let's see how they approach this second down.
Here we go. Go.
From the 31. Finding Flowers. And that's good for a gain of 5. Derek Stingley putting that play to bed. All plays on the table here for 3rd and 3. They go play action here. And that one's too far in front of them, so now they're facing 4th down.
You know, it's fascinating how those routes you run so many times in practice become a whole lot more difficult in the actual game. That was an important 3rd and short to convert. Very surprised to see that play fail.
Third down pass didn't work, but the offense staying out there on 4th.
Let's go now.
Out of the gun, here's Williams. Caught by Flowers. And he'll be brought down here at the 23-yard line. That was the biggest 3-yard gain you're going to see, because instead of a turnover on downs, Brock, it gets them a first.
Oh, so close to getting off the field. But the 4th down conversion keeps that defense out there. That was their shot to end this possession, to sit on the bench, to get their breath. But now they're going to have to buckle down and force another 4th down.
On first down, they'll run. And they're on him after about a 2-yard gain. Making the stop that time, Nick Cross. He gets a couple on first, and they'll come up 2nd and 8.
Okay, that's a run that's ho-hum on the stat sheet, but if you see a bigger play on the ground later on, it'll largely be because of a play just like that one, softening up the front and opening the door for a bigger gap in the future.
Eight yards to go. Let's see how they approach this second down. Williams from the gun. Has him on the quick hitter. And he works this to the 15 before they make the stop.
Translatable skills. That's what you call it. So effective as a runner, but those same traits that make him a great runner, adept at getting those yards, well, he translates it now as a receiver in the open field.
Short yardage situation here. It's 3rd and 2. Working from the gun, Williams. He completes it in traffic. And they'll advance this down to the 5-yard line. It's a double-digit gain, 10 yards, and now they've got 1st and goal.
You're not going to last long in the National Football League if you don't convert a good chunk of your 3rd downs. Nice find there to continue the series.
This drive has been excellent. A few shots now. It's starting with 6 as they come up on it. 1st and goal. Flushed out of the pocket. Toward the side of the end zone, but that one's incomplete.
You need to buy your receivers enough time to get open along the route, and your quarterback enough time to find and hit them with the throw. When the line doesn't hold up, incompletions follow.
So after the incomplete pass, here's 2nd and goal. They'll try and punch it in.
What was supposed to move the chains or at least make 3rd down easier to handle instead? It did the exact opposite here, Kate. Now makes this 3rd down a whole lot trickier to figure out.
They've held him out twice. Here we go. 3rd and goal. Here's Williams. And they're able to touch him down, so that's going to bring up 4th down. And the QB keeps it on the sneak. And he runs it across. Touchdown! The Commanders finish up an excellent opening series. Caleb Williams, the touchdown. He finds his way in on the sneak. Gay with the point after. And the Commanders will jump out to a 7-0 lead. Here's Gay now to handle the kickoff. And that one bounces through the end zone for a touchback. First and 10 now from the 30. Right to the air, it's Levis. He beams one deep right side. His first throw is an interception. Look at Xavier Woods in there to pick it off. And the Commanders are going to take over after the interception. What a call for their first pass of the game. It would have been a big hitter if they completed it, Brock, but just not the right touch on that football, and it ends with an interception.
You could just tell these cover guys, they've been waiting for their first chance to go get some work done in this one. They did their homework, number one. And number two, Kate, as Russell Wilson loves to say, the separation was in the preparation. Well, he was supposed to be the one who chipped away a few and got a new set of downs started right in rhythm. Instead, he's now forced to pick himself from behind the line thanks to a great effort defensively.
Everyone's prepped. It's second down now.
Let's go. Hurry, 70. 60 Bobcat. 60 Bobcat.
Williams set to pass. This one is hit by a defender and winds up incomplete. That one firmly denied by the man in coverage. So they're left facing third and long.
I know a DB in the stat sheet loves to see INT and not PBU, but as soon as he realized a pick wasn't possible, he does the next best thing and knocks it away.
Chance here for one final play before the end of the quarter.
Here we go.
Third down. Here's Williams. Sideline. He's got it, and he gets the feet down, too. So that connection for a first will bring us to the end of the first. Neither side separating much so far. Back to Levi Stadium right after this. Time now for the second quarter. Commanders in possession. They've got 1st and 10 here, looking to add to their lead. To throw is Williams. Dumped off to his running back. And they can't bring him down until he gets into that red zone at the 19. It's a gain of 17 on that one. And that'll be good for a Washington first.
To this day, I can still see the faces of the big guys in the huddle. When you call a screen like that, instead of them just getting knocked backwards, they get to be salesmen. They get to push those linemen downfield and then tee off and go hit somebody like they did right there.
And he's only going to get 2 or 3 yards on that one.
Hey, we know running the ball in the NFL is hard, and that play pretty indicative of it. Here's the key, though. At the end of the game, those type of plays got to be in the minority, and the majority have got to do some damage.
From the 16. And that is caught. It's a Washington touchdown. The Commanders take a 13-0 lead. It's a Chris Godwin touchdown. All right, partner, what do you think? Was that a design read, or did he just see space and he was reacting more on the old quarterback instinct there?
Yes. I think yes on both of them, and that play happens so fast that it really is instincts on both sides.
That one right down the middle. And the Commanders double their lead to 14. Here's Gay now to handle the kickoff. And this kick is going to go out of bounds. Oh, my. That's going to place the ball at the 40-yard line. First and 10 from the 41.
Like 49. Like 49. Tracy. Set.
Levis out of the pistol. Connection made to Smith and Jigba. They get 13 on the pickup. And it brings up a San Francisco first down.
Sure seems like he knew exactly what he wanted, and he got it going right where he wanted to with the ball off the snap.
Football on on that 47-yard line, first down.
22 Linda. 54 Rita, set hut. Set hut.
Shotgun now for Levis. He's got the hook up to Watkins. And he's going to get it out past the 40 before he goes out.
That is the epitome of staying on schedule. That kind of completion right there on first down. Well, it opens up the entirety of the playbook for second down. In the third and short in your back pocket, you can get even more aggressive and take that shot.
After a good pickup, they're set up with second and short.
On. Mike 46. Mike 46.
The first carry now for Jonathan Brooks. And he's brought down after a nice gain and a first down.
That right there, that will make the coaches happy. He didn't just get the first down, but got a healthy chunk of bonus yards afterwards.
They have themselves another first and 10.
On. Mike 90. Heroes down. 90 down. 49 Rita. Set hut.
From the gun, Levis. That's going to be caught by Washington. It's inside the 10. They rip off a big chunk of field, and it sets them up with first and goal.
Good offenses. Okay, good play callers know how to utilize their personnel. They know where they wanted them. They wanted them in a route in space where he could make that initial play comfortably, but then go to work after it.
They'll break the huddle and come up on first and goal. Brooks. And he's tackled with markers down. This one should be on the defense. Easy call for the officials there. He was offsides at the snap, and that's going to cost him. Four downs now to get in. Here's first and goal.
Mike 0. 0.
Smith and Jigba going to motion over left. And he won't salvage that. It's a loss on the play.
You know, when receivers have room to operate, that's a play that can totally gash a defense. But, Kate, when you get down here in the red zone, it becomes so much tougher because you have a whole lot less space. And, in fact, you'll see defenses swarm like that one just did.
Mike 0.
Backed up to the 4-yard line now. It's second and goal. Brooks has nothing on that run. They stand strong and stop him at the 2.
Where you get a little bit closer, but you can feel the pressure starting to mount. Unless you're committed to playing 4 downs here, this becomes a critical third down call.
Mike 54.
A little touch pass here, trying to move the chains. And he's in for the score. Touchdown, San Francisco. The 49ers start to fight back with their first points of this game. Jackson, Smith, and Jigba with a touchdown. Well, great work there, Brock. They weathered the storm, and now they've gotten themselves right back into this ball game.
Anybody who's played this game has been here before. The game doesn't start the way you want. You're in a big hole, and all you can do is climb out of it. And the words of Pete Carroll resonate. It's not how you start, it's how you finish.
And just like that, we're back to a one-possession ball game as the kickoff is away. And that's over the 20, the landing zone, and almost everything else. So that football coming out to the 30-yard line. They're out and set, first and 10. Williams to throw. Andrews with the catch. Gets it ahead, has about 5 yards. Tyler Newbin with the tackle.
He's just one of those guys, Kate. Even when he's not open, he's still a target thanks to that physicality and his ability to just play bully ball. They don't like forcing into coverage, but sometimes when you got a bully like him that can create space, you just find a way to get him the ball.
From the 35 on second down. Finds his man. It's Godwin. And that's good yardage there with a new set of downs to boot.
I'm sure coach and play caller doesn't mind making the job a little bit easier. You know, play calling's a lot simpler and easier when you count on the offense to move the chains on those early downs.
Football on that 47-yard line. First down. Now we're on the counter. And they've got him behind the line for a big loss.
This is one of those situations, Kate, where I watch the body language of the running back because it'd be very easy for him to raise his hands up, look to the sideline in his O-line and go, what am I supposed to do there? There was nothing, no time at all to try and escape and react. Instead, it goes backwards.
So it's the 2-minute warning here from the home of the faithful. The Commanders trying to add to their lead. All right, here we go. Second down. Now here's Williams. And someone stepped in. It's intercepted. Cam Taylor-Britt picks it off. And the 49ers have it now on his 8th pick of the year.
You know what this is, Kate? This is the practice field coming to life. Really on both sides of the ball. Right, you watch defensive coaches preach all the time when they work on these returns to get to the near sideline, everybody to get a block. And then for those offensive players to show the effort to go chase that down so it's not a pick six. Yeah, it stinks for the offense, but that was the practice field coming to life for everybody to see.
It's a pickup of 14 yards as the chains reset.
Kid, I can't tell you how good that is. Anticipating the outcut, having the ball on the way before the receiver's head even turns, he puts it on him so that receiver can easily get out of bounds for the nice gain.
On first down, here comes Brooks. Doesn't get much beyond the line, a yard at most. Ed Oliver there to make the stop. Just a gain of 1, and that brings up 2nd and 9.
I think one thing you learn, Kate, when you transition from college to the NFL, not every run is going to be a big play. Some of them, well, they're just destined to end in a minimal gain, and some of them will set up that critical play action for later.
Levis from the shotgun. That's incomplete left side.
There's the importance of staying in phase as a defender. He was all over him in coverage, and that really did help force the incompletion.
So after that prior incompletion, we've got third down.
Like 49!
Throwing from the gun. Short pass brought in. And he's able to get this down to the 13. The Commanders take a timeout. It's their first. They'll have 2 left to work with before halftime.
You can earn your money in the NFL in all sorts of different ways, but defensively, in a league where you're just not hitting as much in training camp, you're not tackling as much as they got to in the old days, when you can make a play in the open field, keep them short like that, I promise you some money will follow.
Looks like they will indeed try it. 4th and 2.
Like 13! Like 13! 49's down! 22, read it! Panda!
They'll go Levis. He finds him beyond the marker. And he'll go down shy the end zone. They mark him at the 4. The right call came in at the right time. Give him 9 yards and a successful conversion on 4th.
Oh, I love 4th downs. It just brings out the very best, and you get to see how you handle the most pressure, and it turns out, well, they handled it pretty darn well, and now they'll keep pushing.
Levis throwing again. It's another first half mistake. He's intercepted again. And the Commanders will take over as he records his first interception of our season. Well, they were thinking at least a field goal on the drive if they couldn't reach the end zone, right? But the interception keeps them from even getting 3 out of this possession.
You really hope at the end of this game you don't look back and go, shoulda, woulda, coulda. If we could have gotten some points out of that drive early, we wouldn't be in the situation we are in now.
Here's 1st and 10 from the 34. Trying to shake off the interception. He's looking to throw. This is hauled in by T. Higgins. And he's tackled after getting this to the opposing 46. Washington calls it 2nd timeout. And they still have 1 in their pocket for what's left of this half. One play in, and this drive is already into enemy territory. Williams to throw on 1st. Completed to Flowers. And he works this to the 38 before going down. Final timeout taken by the Commanders. And that's all they've got for what little remains of this half. After a good pickup, they're set up with 2nd and short. From the 38. This one is tipped away and incomplete. Good positioning to make a play on it. That forces 3rd down.
Well, Kate, that wasn't a fast enough break for the interception, but it was good enough and a good enough break to break on the ball, get a finger on it, and force the incompletion.
No connection on the last play, and now it's 3rd down. Sticking in the air, it's Williams. On the move, headed right. That one is incomplete. The clock now down to 16 seconds remaining.
That's somebody they're going to look for if he has any space deep. That space, though, Kate, just disappeared between when he let that pass go and when he actually made it down the field.
Still staying out after the incompletion. They're going to try on 4th. Out of the gun, here's Williams. That's cut beyond the marker. And he's out of bounds, just short of the 30. They come through with 6 yards there, Brock, and they're rewarded with a new set of downs.
I love those moments of truth. We get to see exactly how they handle it when all the pressure that drives right on. And turns out, handled it pretty darn well, and now they'll keep pushing on.
1st down throw by Williams. Escapes the pocket. This has been a trend, yet another interception. Cam Taylor-Britt picks it off. There he goes on the right side. And it's a pick 6 as he runs it in for the touchdown. Went to the old well one too many times, Brock, and this time the defense was ready for it.
Now, you make as many catches as he has in this game, you're going to attract some extra attention. They knew it was probably going his way in the near future, and they had somebody there waiting for it that time.
They can go to the locker rooms tied if they put this through. And his kick is good, and what a first half that was as we officially go into locker rooms now, all tied up. So that's the halfway point of this edition of the NFL on EA Sports. Brock and I will be back right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Kate Scott, Brock Heward with you as we're about set to begin the third quarter. Well, we're set up for an incredible second half, all tied as we kick it away here in quarter number 3. It's Keyshawn Nixon with the return. His return gets him to the 32-yard line before he's taken down. And the drive will start out with a 1st and 10. A carry by Brooks to start the drive. And he's into the front for a gain of about 2.
Well, Kate, a 2-yard run on 1st down, I think that keeps you ahead of schedule. You're going to have to pick up the pace.
8 yards to go. Let's see how they approach this second down.
Like 54, like 54.
From the 34. Got Washington. It's complete. And they can't chop to him, but not until he's got a huge gain and a 1st down. This one goes for an even 25 yards. And that's a 49er 1st down.
Yeah, I love that effort, adding as much as possible to that catch while earning the 1st down. That's called yards after catch. And it's what coaches want from all their pass catchers on the roster.
Hey, like 13, like 13.
Now a give to Brooks, coming left. And that's good yardage with a new set of downs.
Offensive coordinators tell us all the time, big runs only happen with coordinated efforts. Great block in the spring of guys hitting blocks downfield and a back who can show off his wheels.
Like 24.
Going to the ground again on 1st. He's able to drive that pile about a yard. Aiden Hutchinson, energetic as always after making the stick. Manages just a yard on 1st down. Now it's going to be 2nd and 9.
Like 13, like 13.
Running once more with Brooks. And he's brought down for a loss.
Hey, range is not an optional feature for middle linebackers in today's game. It's a prerequisite for the job. And this guy definitely has it. Followed that play from the start, and he ended it with a loss.
This drive in jeopardy. Here's a 3rd and 10.
22 Rita.
Levis to the air now. And the Commanders get home. They drop him. And the defense comes through. That's going to back him up and bring up 4th down.
That sure ended up being a worst-case scenario. Pass rush just kept coming and bearing down, and he was looking for an escape that wasn't there. It's just one of those plays in hindsight, Kate, where you really got to understand, I got to cut bait, cut my losses, and avoid such a negative play.
Has the distance, but headed well left. No good. And instead of 3 points, quarter 3 remains tied.
Well, once you get out beyond 50 yards, everything in the process has got to be perfect. It's a good effort, but it's going to wind up off the mark.
Commanders starting out in a good spot this drive as they get set. 1st and 10. Putting a receiver in motion. 1st down, Williams. Forced out to his right. They left him wide open. It's complete. It's a 21-yard gain. And the Commanders will have a 1st.
From a great throw to a nice route and catch to moving the chains, there wasn't a whole lot not to like about that amazing play.
It's a new set of downs for him at the 32. Out of the gun, they'll give it to him inside. And he's got a nice run. That reaches the 26. Call it 7 yards, and now they'll have second down and 3.
So much to like about that run, Kate, particularly what he was able to get out of it. The defense, I think, feels a little fortunate they were able to track him down before an even bigger run and crossing that first down marker.
Back to the well again. And that plunge is going to garner a couple of yards. Audio Karake making that stop. Call it a gain of 2, and now it's going to be third down and 1.
You know, they got some positive yards. That's a good thing. But too many plays like that, it just is too hard to pile together, get first downs against the better defenses in this league.
Bails out of the pocket quick. That's caught for the first. And he has it down officially to the red zone at the 20. It's a 4-yard gain, and that's going to get him across the marker and earn the first. Working inside the red zone. Finding Flowers. And they get this down to the 10-yard line before going down. Options are open here. It's second and inches. Here's a give up the middle. And he's going to take it in for the Washington touchdown. The Commanders grab the lead on their first series of the half. Well, Brock, he found himself some space to work, and from there, wow, all athleticism as he made his way into the end zone.
You got that right, Kate. Just that speed. You got to have some different gear when you get down here to the red zone. It's hard to score rushing touchdowns. And that running back sees the open space, he sees the green grass, and he finishes it off with 6.
That one splits the uprights. And the Commanders break that tie and now lead by 7. Here's Gay now to handle the kickoff. Trey Tucker to return it. Oh, he eats a hit to bring an end to that return right near the 25. Drive starts out with a 1st and 10.
F24 Linda, flat green 18 green.
Slot man motioned over. Levis here on 1st down. He'll get it to Brandon Ayuk. And he'll go down after fighting his way to the 32.
That is a textbook 1st down completion. Sets up second and very manageable and creates space to take that shot downfield.
Here we go. Tonight.
From the 32. Completes it to his running back. Here's Jonathan Brooks. And he'll be out of bounds right along the 40. Give him 9 on that play, and it's enough for the first.
That's just great instincts. Go air it out on 2nd down rather than just play conservative and run it. They hit a weak point in the coverage and don't need to worry about 3rd down at all.
Levis now on 1st down. Defender arrives right as the ball does, and the hit knocks it free. Incomplete. You go middle of the field against zone coverage, Brock. You know this firsthand. You are throwing into rush hour, and there aren't a lot of easy completions to be found in that part of the field.
Yeah, and a lot of those throws, Kate, you're signing your guy up to take some sort of hit. It's on you to protect your guys. Credit that defense for flying around and making the play.
Levis throwing again on 2nd down. An all-around tough play for him. He took a shot on the release, and it definitely affected the throw. It's incomplete.
That is a DB's best friend, pressure. That pressure earned that incompletion. They came in before he could find a target and hit him to alter that last-second attempt to get rid of it.
Last pass unsuccessful, and they have 3rd down here.
Mayday.
Running back, motioning right. Throwing his Levis on third down. He's got the hook up to Watkins. And he'll be taken down, but not until he reaches that 45-yard line. Working quickly here.
That's good. 4-8.
Throwing now on first down, Levis. They'll get this one to Watkins. They gain 14 on the play. And it brings up a San Francisco first down.
That is what elite offenses are all about. Why worry about 3 downs when you need only one? Move the chains in one play and keep driving that defense backwards.
Diamond.
From the gun, Levis. This will be caught by Watkins. And he's going to end up out of bounds, which will end our third quarter. This is the end of the third quarter. It's 49ers ball, and they're sort of in comeback mode here. They trail to start the fourth. Nice spot here for the offense. It's 2nd and 1.
Here we go.
This is Brooks heading left. And that short gain is enough for a new set of down. Offense in the hurry up here. First down, and they go right back to him. And he's charged towards the line. That's right around 3 yards. Second down now, 7 to go.
Wing 90.
Throwing with a blitz on the way. It's taken in by Washington. And he's able to get this down to the 13. Offense up to the line fast.
It's a gain of 5. Brings up 3rd and 2.
Looking to throw on 3rd and 2. Complete beyond the marker. And he drives this forward to the 6. A nice gain of 8 there, and that brings them to 1st and goal.
That's what we call situational football. You spend all week working on your nickel passing game package to take advantage of 3rd downs just like that.
They can decide to play for the tie or win later. First, they've got to reach that end zone. It's 1st and goal. Here's Brooks. And he's brought down real close to that goal line at the 1. A dose of the hurry-up offense here.
Brings up 2nd and
Again, they give to Brooks. And here's another stop made right at the line. Nice back-to-back reps from this defense.
Hey, as much as I love talking about these physical matchups, right now this is psychological. This adds some layers to this 3rd down call. Do you try your hand at another run and hope it fares better? Tougher to go back to it again when it just gets stuffed.
So now, here's 3rd and goal.
Zero's down. 49 window.
A little touch pass here, trying to move the chains. He has the San Francisco touchdown. So they punch it in for 6, Brock, and now a conversion away from tying this game back up.
This one just has the feel, doesn't it? The makings of a 1-score game in the 4th quarter that could go either way.
On for the PAT, and a make would tie us up late. The kick is good, so this game now hinging on every possession as we're tied up in the 4th. Taylor has it on the tee and is ready to send it flying. And he wasn't chancing a return there, putting it out on the back of the end zone for a touchback. First and 10 now from the 30. Blown back in the backfield, and they give it to him. And he's up to the 35-yard line as they reel him in. First down play, nets him 5. It's going to be 2nd and 5.
That run's not going to turn many heads, but at the end of the year, I promise you, if you average over 5 yards a run, you're going to be a Pro Bowler.
Buying some time right. Catch is made down the right sideline. And they finally bring him down, but that is a big gain and a new set of downs. It's a 24-yard gash, and it gives them the first down.
You know, Kate, you'll find teams go to this crossing route concept sometimes a dozen times a game. A lot of times it's for shorter yardage, but sometimes things break in the right coverage for a much bigger impact play, just like that.
And with a nice gain, he runs him down inside of field goal range. Just a little short, but still a 9-yard pickup. That's going to bring up 2nd and 1.
Well, that doesn't net a first down. You get yards like that in the run game, you will take it in the NFL.
They give it to him again. And his short gain gets them a new set of downs.
Hey, Kate, you want to see a picture in the football dictionary of staying on schedule? That was it.
They've got 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning left for them. We've got 1st and 10. We've reached the 2-minute warning in Santa Clara. Commanders going for the win here. Still on the move, coming to the line for 1st and 10. To throw is Williams. Chased after, and Willie, no, he's not going to escape. They take him down on a pivotal play late in this ball game. And the big play drives them backwards. 2nd down coming up.
Kate, I've seen a one-step drop. I've seen a 3, a 5, a 7. Some of the boots and play actions get more depth, but a 20-step drop? That's not going to cut it. Except for this defense, it just adds a whole bunch of negative yards to that play.
Setting up to pass. That one is incomplete. Couldn't hang on through the contact. That was Zay Flowers, the intended receiver. So now it's going to be 3rd and long.
Defender's not going to be thrilled. The catch was almost made on his watch, but more importantly, he breaks it up. Gives him a chance to do a little jawing after the play. Lets the other guy know he roughed him up and cost him that catch.
Here he is to throw. And that's a win for the pass rush. Hit as he threw it, leads to the incompletion. 4th down coming up.
And this is why scouts talk about a player's closing speed, Kate. You know, once he senses the pressure, he's getting rid of that ball. It takes a player who can close quickly to get to him before it's released. And that sure altered the throw.
Third down pass didn't work, but the offense staying out there on 4th. Didn't get that one off in time. This is going to be a delay of game. Can't get the play off in time, and I'm going to wager the call's going to come in much quicker, Brock, for this next snap. Here comes Bryce Behringer to handle the fourth down punt. And this somehow is only going to be our first punt of the game. He punted a couple of times last week in their loss, and now gets this one away. And this will hit the goal line and then go into the end zone for a touchback. They'll get this drive started. 1st and 10.
Mike 46! Mike 46!
He'll look to throw it. And they got there in time. He's taken down. The Commanders take a timeout. It's their first. As they'll meet and decide what to do on this 2nd down.
You know, when we watch the Combine each and every single year, I hope you get good enough to understand as a football fan, watch the big guys' first 10 yards. Don't watch the ends and the linemen run 40. Watch their first 10, because that's the most critical. And that defensive end showed you right there the kind of explosive burst in the first few yards to get home for the big sack.
He's got it deep downfield. 30. He's at the 10. They rip off a big chunk of field, and it sets him up with 1st and goal.
You know, Kate, we often talk about flipping the field in special teams, right? A kick return, a good punt. Well, an explosive play like that does the exact same thing. Look at the difference in field position. By hitting on that shot, you've totally flipped the field and the tone of this drive.
Set up for the game winner. Let's see how they approach it, starting with this 1st and goal. Brooks can't fight past that line. They stop him at the 3. Washington calls it 2nd timeout. Still one more in their pocket to use.
You know, Kate, these are the situations in training camp that I love more than anything to watch. You learn so much about a football team in these goal-to-go situations. You know you got to protect that goal line, and the defense, well, they did the job on 1st down. More to come.
And the defense is all over this one for a big loss. Final timeout taken by the Commanders. And now they're powerless to stop that clock with a timeout at least. Buckle up. It's 3rd and goal.
Mike 0! Mike 0!
Here is Brooks. And the defense gets there to force a small loss.
Brought down behind the line of scrimmage. A loss of a yard brings up 4th and goal.
And with 2 seconds remaining in our contest, we're going to see what both teams decide to do with this final play. Now out comes the 2nd-year kicker in one of the biggest spots of his young career. Little more than a chip shot. This is 25 yards. The kick is good. He got